after the fact. Now let's hop into this game, as this is a qualifying match for the Ting Open. Oh, we already had Reality go through, first Terran and first Korean to actually make it into the group stage. And we're going to find out whether another Terran will join him or if maybe Patience will take this. Spawning in the top left, it's going to be the blue Protoss Patience.
In the bottom right, as the red Terran, he's Ryung. And he did just check out Trap, so I would not have been optimistic otherwise going into this game.
No, 100% agree with you. I would have given this to Patience 2-0 every single time. But seeing that he just took out Trap 2-1, that makes me think like either Ryung's got some like Cyclone builds in his back pocket, you know what I'm saying? Or he's just better at the matchup. I mean, the funny thing is for me, Ryung has never been a terrible player. There's never any situation, I think, where I would ever call Ryung bad. But he was getting worse at TVP. And like when you had team leagues back in the day of Axiom being a team still, like they would rely on Hart to be the TVP player, not Ryung. But Legacy of the Void changed a lot of people for the better, and matches people couldn't handle before, they're way better at now.
Yeah, everything changed when Legacy of the Void attacked. What?
Yeah,
but it also might have changed when Ryung got onto a different team. I mean, Axiom was really great, and we all loved Axiom, right? But towards the end, there was a lot of, I guess, not so much focus on, you know, they weren't a pro league. They were focused on like out of Korea tournaments, and they started disappearing. Like everything just started not lining up for Axiom, right? Now that he's on a team that's in pro league again, I wonder if he has more consistent practice partners, like more like not dedicated practice, but you know what I mean, like you actually have a goal in mind other than just like, I hope I can win a tournament if it appears in the future. Like, no, I have to win this game at X time. Yeah. Sometimes it really helps to have that structured setup.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like there's that fear, like this structured strictness is what restricted a lot of people from even being able to play some of the tournament today, for example.
Yeah.
So there are pros and cons that come with that.
Yeah, I mean, MVP's always been a little bit nicer.
Yeah,
like,
it's MVP and Samsung are kind of the more willing to branch out.
So MVP makes a lot of sense because they weren't Kespa, you know, from the get-go, but Samsung was, but Stork, I just was like, doesn't...
A combination Stork and like you had Solar start winning foreign money in the Zotac Cups, and his teammates were like, "Oh, well, if he can do that, then we can do that." And
yeah.
Actually,
anyways.
speaking of which, Solar did something. I'm surprised we didn't see him play today. I'm gonna have to harass the shit out of him on Skype when we're done casting today and ask why.
Probably focusing on the big tournaments because he's still in them, so good for him. But we did have an interesting setup, and the builds are now underway. We have Hellions with a medevac marine drop. So. He's actually going for kind of the direct push variation of this, which I didn't think was going to work, but might just be enough. I mean, there's only 3 stalkers. The pylons aren't covering everything.
And the overcharge is gone. He used it at the natural. There's no secondary photon overcharge for this. So the Marines can zone out so much of this, and then the Hellions can just go for that mineral line. This is actually kind of ridiculous how scary this is for Patience, because I would not expect Patience to die to this, but the probe's getting pulled. Hellions get a huge hit. 13 probes go down. This attack, oh my god.
The Liberator, or the Cyclone thing we saw from Reality in the last series, that's still pretty new, especially the way that he did it with like 5 Cyclones at the end of the day. Like that's pretty new to me, at least.
The SimCity is so similar.
But this build is actually not that new. Like I'm really surprised Patience is dying so hard to it.
Okay, now this Liberator doesn't do much, but it does keep the Stalkers in the main, which means the overcharge was the only thing to deny the gold base. This 20 probes is something I think Patience can find a way to play the game on, but this is not a position you want to be in at all. That's for certain.
No. I mean, for Ryung to go for just like the attack on your Stalkers is pretty bold of him, because the other thing they could have done was just go to the main with the Marines and then attack the gold with the probes. Still might have done a lot of damage, depending on how many probes were at the gold, but it ended up being a really smart choice to go for the throat, basically. Now, with medevac healing and, like, you know, you micro it really hard, I guess they could take on the Mothership Core, but they're going to get out of there. Ryung did start investing into tanks as well as a couple more Liberators, because he doesn't have a lot of production otherwise back at home. And a counterattack would maybe kill him. Still might, maybe. Like, with a War Prism available, with a almost instant warp-ins.
I don't know. There's no blink, right? That's the thing. So the tank should be pretty safe wherever it sets up. Same with the Liberator.
So when you just go up into the main base with those adepts or the stalkers, just leapfrog.
Maybe.
It looks like he's gonna take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, there's no medevac here to ship that tank around, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Depths go to the mineral line, but the Liberator and the Marines are chasing us back already. This attack, though, in the main, I'm unsure about this. He's left the second tank unsieged very much intentionally. These adepts won't be able to transfer through much to anywhere, and the stalker count is...
bold.
This could kill Ryung if Ryung handles this poorly, but I feel like that is going to take a really, really poor handling of this to die.
There's a lot of adepts now they've warped in more, and the Liberator changes position to help out. They get on top of the tank. They do not get it, though. They took a while to get it.
The other tank's covered.
Tank as well.
I mean, the adepts are going to kill a lot of SCVs, so this evens up the worker kills, right? This actually
Yeah.
brings patience back to more even game. Plus, he's got the gold base advantage, but that tank still stands. The SCVs are repairing the hell out of it. Adepts in the mineral line finally get cleaned up, and patience now so far behind an army supply. Despite how good this may or may not have been, now there's the danger of a counterattack. This 37 supply to 8. I mean, I don't care how much you want to warp in. That's not going to hold.
You know, usually Terrans don't really want to push with tanks, at least without medevacs. Like maybe when they have medevacs and 3 or 4 tanks, we see a push against Protoss commonly. But until then, it's more a defensive setup, you know? But yeah, you're right. Like with the huge lead in army, if he did push out, even without medevacs to put those tanks in decent positions, I think he could actually do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think he just a move across the map. He's staying at home though because he's very scared of future warp-ins, and I don't blame him for that. But I mean, oh, we got a donation. I think he sniped the warp prism. Obviously, another one could come out, so I think that's what he's most worried about, just not knowing what's going on.
Red Star Heavy Hitter Mouse actually wrote a really nice message that was a little too long, but gist of it is we got a lot of love.
Okay, I'll read it out once. Actually, things have calmed down a bit. So quickly, reading out $20 this is a huge amount. Thank you very much, sir. Red Star Heavy Hitter Mouse says, guys, I love you and your work. I found myself checking out your channel whenever I came home from a stressful day at work and binge studying session in college, or when I just needed to have a breather. My love, always. It was like romantic almost, you know, not like in in a weird way. It's just like a nice message. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the channel, friend. All right, the Marines are going to get over here. They got stim as well. A lot of these SCVs are very low from that first attack. I guess with having no medevac, there's also no healing on those SCVs, funny enough. But this opportunity, I guess we could say, for Ryung is kind of disappearing. Because while he waits back into defend, it's not like Patience is building up a massive army, but he's getting things like DTs and Blink and potentially Forge upgrades. So I think it's easy for us to look at this and be like, Ryung, you should have just gotten to move and attack. Easy peasy. But for Ryung, I'm sure he's actually probably lost a lot of those situations and didn't realize just how ahead he was in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like tanks can look so good and then actually totally peter out when you move across the map with them because they get surrounded, they don't get into an abusive situation, and of course in this case they would have had to siege up, supposed to be carrying around. Like the tanks actually really do stop you from moving out, and just the general lack of medevacs. Terran never want to move out without medevacs, whether it's for the tanks or just for healing your stim. Now that it's done, stim's done, and the medevacs are out and repaired as well, he is going to start moving across the map, and he still has some time before the army gets back up to even.
Okay, the catching this drop pretty important. This is what was going to keep him at bay. Now he kills the warp prism. Now he's got to know he can move.
Yeah, I mean, Patience instantly remakes another one. He realizes that he needs to buy time. His army supply still isn't that great. His third not yet set up either, so he hasn't really reaped the benefits from that. I mean, he's had a gold base, which, you know, Ryung has not. So in some way, I'm sure Ryung also considered that for not pushing out. Like, oh, what if he just warped in like 1 billion adepts? Because, you know, Protoss, right? But it is starting to wear out here. The minerals are starting to get low.
The Widowmine gets such a good hit too, basically EMPing the stalkers for this engagement. DTs, I don't know if he saw them. He had scanned ahead. This may have been like an awkward accidental thing. Looks like that was the case, not actually aware DTs were in play. Tanks get good shots on that last pylon to the north. This Nexus should go down. Mothership Core falls. Warp Prism gets sniped off as well. Tanks, though, are being under attack, and I don't think he knows about this. There we go. The scan goes down. And meanwhile, he does rebuild this wall, so there's no walking into the base with new DTs either. This is getting really aggressive, and Patience just has no army supply to fight with. This is that problem we're talking about.
This is game. He has nothing else except maybe like 1 DT at a time. GG. Nicely done from Ryung.
Ryung taking up 1-0 lead. Now, this is... Okay, it's